Oh, I was going to say, I know he's the one that called. He called and was at work and wanted to know if he could appear via Zoom, but he would have to do it next Monday. And I told him yes, and we sent him the link and everything. So he said he was going to try to appear next Monday for his next Monday. Miles Bush. Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you? Yeah, that's fine. Sure. Thank you. Mr. Bush, can I have you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm that you will tell me the truth, so help you God? All right, thanks. So, Mr. Bush, this is a motion to enter a guilty plea, and it just got signed today, according to what your attorney has told me. So I'm sure that you have looked at it, and it's dated with today's date. You probably can't see it from where you are, but does that look familiar? Does that look like what you signed? Okay. There's also a offer from the Commonwealth. Does that look like what you signed? Did you read both of these things and thoroughly go over them with your lawyer before you signed them? All right. So do you feel like you had sufficient time to talk with her about what these, what was going on and what the Commonwealth was offering and what kind of proof there was, everything? Do you understand what it is that you've agreed to? Okay. Do you also understand that you have the right not to incriminate yourself? If you plead guilty, you waive that right, okay? Because you'll be telling me you're guilty. You have the right to a trial where the Commonwealth would have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You could confront and cross-examine with the assistance of an attorney the people that gave evidence against you, and you could also put evidence on in your own defense. Do you understand that if you plead guilty, you waive those rights? All right. Do you understand that if you plead guilty, you waive the right to appeal your case to a higher court? All right. Mr. Bush, do you feel like you're under the influence of anything today? All right. Do you feel like you're being forced by me or anyone else to plead guilty today? All right. I'm letting in a few latecomers. All right. So in this case, the Commonwealth has made this recommendation. Your count one is burglary in the third degree, which is a Class D felony. On a guilty plea to that charge, the Commonwealth would recommend a sentence of 3 years plus a possible fine and court costs. Count two is theft by unlawful taking, $500 or more. Commonwealth, that's another D felony. The Commonwealth would recommend 3 years on that one as well. Those sentences would run concurrently for a total recommendation of 3 years. The Commonwealth would agree to probate that sentence for a period of 3 years after serving an alternative 45-day sentence on home incarceration. And the 45 days would, my interpretation of this would mean it would begin upon sentencing. Is that right? And there would be restitution in the amount of $1,055, which would be payable to Mr. Deckard as written on this document here with an address and so forth. A condition of the Commonwealth making this recommendation and a condition of your probation would be, per the terms of this offer, that you don't have any contact or communication directly or otherwise with the victim in the case. Do you understand? Do you and I understand all this the same way?
I do. Not about you.
Yeah. Well, what I just told you is what I think it says. So if that comports with your agreement, we're in business. All right. Now, do you feel like anybody's promised you anything other than what I just talked to you about to get you to plead guilty? Has anybody threatened you to try to make you plead guilty? In fact, are you telling me here today that you are pleading guilty voluntarily and of your own accord? All right. Mr. Bush, are you acknowledging that on or about the 25th day of March, 2020 in Berrien County, Kentucky, you knowingly entered or remained unlawfully in a building belonging to Charles Deckard with the intent to commit a crime therein, and when you took or exercised physical control over movable property belonging to that same individual, valued at over $500, but valued at less than $10,000 with the intent to deprive the lawful owner thereof. All right. Mr. Bush, I'm going to accept here today your plea of guilty. Now, this is one of those, since we're kind of back to semi-normal, we probably have to set this up as a sentencing on a separate date and have him come back in after meeting with probation and parole to do what we call a pre-sentence investigation. They'll prepare a report, which you and your attorney will get to see. We'll all get to see it. It will, discuss things that might be relevant to your sentencing that might come up that we would need to know before we sentence you. All right. So in the meantime, what I will tell you to do is, as soon as I get done talking to you, stop off here and talk to one of these young ladies, and they'll set you up with a where and a when to meet with probation. I'll give you a hearing pretrial, a final sentencing date, and that's probably going to be, you'll have to remind me again. Are you okay most of June? It's July that gets into your, yeah. So if I did June 14th, let's say, all right, that's 6 weeks. All right. So we'll have you come back on June the 14th for your sentencing. In the meantime, you're on bond, so you'll need to realize that you're still on those conditions, okay? Because that could screw everything up if, you get in, you have some problems. And the other thing I want to tell you is, let's be prepared to, nail down that ankle monitor deal at that time. So, you can have it all arranged. You can even have it on. If you do it over here with Julie, a lot of times she'll just call me and say, is it okay to go ahead and put Miles Bush on this monitor? And I'll tell her yes. So, you could even already have it on before that day if you wanted to. And I would count that, even though the terms of your plea says, as of day of sentencing, if you went on that, I think y'all wouldn't have any problem with counting that. Yeah. So we would count that and give you credit for that. Okay. Do you have any questions? All right. Everything okay? Oh yeah. 10 o'clock. I'm sorry. Yeah. Garnet Clifford. Sorry. Garnet Clifford. Yeah. Is that something you guys could check on for me? He's being supervised out of Edmonson County.
I guess Darlene did write that probation parole did tell him today's hearing.
Yeah. The only thing I was wondering, she says she wanted him assessed and up to and including residential treatment. So I thought maybe there could be a way that he might have been in treatment somewhere.
That was on the violation report that was last Thursday.
Right.
He tested positive on the 16th.
Oh, he's not even getting assessed until May 17th. So that's unlikely. My scenario was unlikely. I guess what I'm trying to find out is if he's doing what he's supposed to do, because I'm hoping that's what they're checking on. Or they're just ignoring me. Are you checking on that? Or are you ignoring me? Correct. What we're trying to figure out is if anybody knows where he is. He got arrested in Edmonson County, but I don't know that he didn't get out.
I think he's out on bond. He's not showing anywhere.
Theoretically, his probation officer was supposed to tell him to be here today. Got any proof of that?
There's no note that she did. She couldn't have and just didn't enter it in here. I can email her real quick and find out.
This is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to move him to next Monday, and I know we aren't going to have any DPA people here, but all we're going to do is set his case for a hearing. Denise will be on here, I hope. So she'll know when his hearing is, and he'll be here and he'll know when his hearing is.
Your Honor, if he shows up next week, he will be assigned.
Okay. But I would like to pass along to his probation officer to let him know about that date specifically.
Yes, sir.
Raymond Colello. How you doing, sir? I am fine. You are Raymond F. Colello? Okay. And can you tell me your address?
856 South Gasaway Road, Gloucester, Kentucky.
All right. Very good. Is your date of, well, can you tell me your date of birth?
9189.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Colello, you're here because you've been indicted on a 3-count indictment, unlawful access to a computer, first degree. That is a Class C felony, fraudulent use of a credit or debit card, $500 or more, a D felony, theft or receipt of a stolen credit or debit card. That is a Class A misdemeanor. Do you have an attorney? I'm sorry?
I should, yes. Ken Gary was my,
Oh, okay. Have you spoken with him about being here today?
I was supposed to show up. He was supposed to be here.
Okay. I don't guess it's, anybody can remember hearing from him. Okay.
He was on district court this morning.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to have a seat there until we, give him a chance. Sometimes people are in more than one court at a time, and so he has to finish up one place and jump in here on another place. So if you'll bear with us for a minute, we'll see if he comes in, okay? Tyler Duggan. All right, this is on for final sentencing, is that right? Have you had the chance to look at the pre-sentence investigation report? Was there anything in that report that your current address? All right, let's see. Do you want to tell me what that current address is?
2015 Gamale Road, Gamale, Kentucky.
All right, so 2016 Gamale Road. All right. Is there anything that either side would like to discuss prior to sentencing? And if not, Mr. Berry, any statement that you would like to make?
I know the Commonwealth proposes probation in this matter. We'd ask the court to consider probation. I don't think Tyler had a felony record. Police wasn't a CFO. These were this Class B felony that he pled guilty to. So we would ask the court to probate this rather than sentence.
All right. Mr. Richardson?
Judge, you asked that you go through with recommendations. It is a serious case, Judge. It's been a while. I remember talking to one of the family members of the victims a while ago. They were not wanting to see him at the time stay in jail. I took that into consideration. We made the deal that we did. However, I did want him to serve time. And he stipulated to the facts that are contained in the PSI, Judge. It notes that in this case, he assaulted more than one individual in the household. There were 3 witnesses to the scene. He had doused himself in gasoline, threatened to set himself on fire. That was evidence by the fact that investigators did smell the gasoline and saw the gas can on the property. There were also multiple witnesses, and at that point, he fled to Tennessee. I also want the court to note, as it's noted in the PSI, that he's had misdemeanor violations in Tennessee. He violated probation of those. We don't think he would make himself amenable to probation. Besides that, Judge, I think it would, probating him on a charge like this would duly appreciate the seriousness of the crime, Judge. We ask that you sentence him to 3 years.
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of things that go into it, and I understand the Commonwealth's position in making the offer that it made, and certainly there was no promise or guarantee of probation. To be frank, my thought, and you guys have been around enough to know that I'm, you know, generally not a huge fan of shock probation, you know, just because I believe that we should, you know, probate people or not probate people. And then, you know, there are cases where it becomes appropriate, and I have certainly done it before. This would appear to be that kind of case. When I get to this kind of case, then I start thinking, well, they have built in this alternative sentence process for a reason as well. And I would tell you that I believe, based upon the facts, that this is certainly a case that warrants some incarceration as part of the penalty. So having given that some thought and listening to what you all are saying, this is what I am going to do with Mr. Duggan's sentence. I am going to sentence him to 3 years as stated by the Commonwealth in the plea offer and as accepted by him in the plea offer. I am going to have him serve an alternative sentence of 45 days beginning on the date of sentencing, which is today, and ending after which he will be probated for a period of 3 years under supervision of probation and parole. Sir.
I've already served time already. I've got credit already. I think I've done 9 days so far already on it.
I understand. I'm talking about serving an alternative sentence of an additional 45 days. Okay. Which is better than serving 3 years in prison in my estimation. Yes.
What about, could I do it on the weekend? Because I do have a job that I've worked ever since I've been out. Ever since I've been released from jail, I've worked, you know, done good, and tried my hardest to stay out of trouble. I'm trying for real, and I'm really not trying to go back to jail, though, you know.
Well, I can tell you that I can't do weekends because that's something that's not available anymore unless or until we get this COVID thing under control. They don't have the personnel or the people to allow us to get in and out doing those weekends. So that's not really an option. And while I appreciate the fact that you've been working, I would say again, the big thing that I see here is that if I sentence you just to serve 3 years, you wouldn't have the opportunity to do your job. You can't do work release or anything like that. So while I don't want you to lose your job, being out of the mix for 45 days is a lot better than being out of it for 3 years. And that's the best I can do on that. Do what? No, we're going to do it today. Okay. I mean, this is your day that you're getting sentenced, and your sentence is going to be going to jail. Okay.
Judge, one issue, my understanding was he was living in Tennessee.
Yes, sir. I've lived in Kentucky since I've been.
That's fine. I didn't know if it was an issue probation, Judge.
Yeah, he told me his address was in Monroe County. So this is what I need to do. I need him to have a seat over here. And what we do under these circumstances is call the GPD or somebody. They can come up here and take care of it. Or somebody from your office if they're floating around. All right. All right, Mr. Dugan, and I'm going to have you, your fines and costs will just be considered to be served out because of the time that you're going to do. Folks, I think we can start. I've got Breckenridge County Jail on here. They've got one inmate. Let's see if we can't accommodate those guys real quick. And then I got Warren County after that. Breckenridge County would be Bradley Jones.
Yes, sir.
Jones, you are here based upon 3 separate indictments arising out of the most recent meeting of the grand jury. Did I say, did I mean 3? 2. Is it 3? Okay. Back to where I started. 3 separate indictments. And Mr. Berry, I have more copies than you actually want. I think there's 2 copies of each one. Yeah. Mr. Jones is in the Breckenridge County Jail. Mr. Jones, what would your address be if you were not there in jail?
It's gonna be 1517 Greenwood Alley, apartment 3, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
No, he's in Breckenridge.
Yes, sir, I'm in SAP.
Okay. And you said apartment, what was the apartment?
Number 3, sir.
Apartment 3. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are you in the SAP program based upon, did Jefferson County put you in that?
No, sir. I did it upon the charges that I'm currently, I guess, that I got indicted for. I hadn't received any paperwork or anything, but I was on shock probation, and I went to report to my probation officer, and I got locked up on those charges. And I've been in jail ever since then. I didn't get a reasonable bond or anything, Judge Alexander. So they revoked my bond, they revoked my probation, and I sat in Barron County for about 2.5 months, almost 2.5, and then I got revoked and recommended parole, or the parole board's recommended me SAP, so I just went ahead and did it. Because I MRS out November on my other case for Butler County.
Butler County. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Berry, I'm going to appoint, he's going to be in custody, you know, it seems like for the next 6 months anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and appoint your office to represent him in each of these 3 cases.
We'd wait formal arraignment on all 3 of the indictments.
All right, Mr. Jones, your attorney is waiving a formal arraignment and asking to enter a plea of not guilty. So that's what we will do. We will set this for a pretrial conference at some, something fairly reasonable time so that he can have a chance to get through the discovery in these cases and then chat with you on it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that would be, Mr. Berry, you want to look at maybe towards the end of July, the 26th. Can we give him a number just in case something happens and he ends up not being in Breckenridge County Jail? He can notify you.
I'll tell you what, I'll call him.
You call him at the jail? All right.
I'll call him.
Would that, sir, would that be something where his attorney could call up there to Breckenridge County Jail and pass a phone number along to him?
Yes, sir. We can do that.
All right. That's just to just to make it easier, you know, because everybody's so far away right now.
Right.
Okay. All right. That's what we'll do, Mr. Jones. And your attorney will get with you before that court date, and then we'll have some things to talk about when you come back. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Monday, July 26th at 1 o'clock. I also have Warren and Hardin. Let me talk to the Hardin. That's going to be real fast. All right. I believe I have Miss Bryant in Hardin County.
I've got her here.
Thank you. She'll have a commitment order for him. Miss Bryant, the reason that you were on here was to check and see if there had been anything from KCPC yet. And we don't even have a letter from them showing that they have scheduled your intake. So your attorney was on earlier, but he didn't, want to wait when we weren't going to accomplish anything. So we rescheduled the review in your case to June the 7th at the same time. And then hopefully we'll know by then when you're going to be going, or if you have already gone, we'll have more information. Okay.
June the 7th. Okay, thank you.
And so I told him that he didn't have to stick around for that. And he was, he had something else he needed to do. So he went ahead and extricated himself from the meeting. Okay.
Yes, sir. Do you know why they haven't came or scheduled the intake or anything?
I do not know. Sometimes sometimes they schedule them real fast, and sometimes it takes weeks or even a month, so it's just a matter of whatever else they have on their plate at the time.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Who's in? Dylan Roberts. He is in Warren County Jail. Okay. For the time being here, Ms. Myers, are you going to stand in for us? All right. Would you like the indictments, or do you care either way? Yeah. He's got 3 indictments. You bet. Mr. Roberts, can you tell me your address if you were not in custody right now?
It'll be at 245 Kelly Road, apartment C19, Bowling Green, Kentucky, and that's with my father, my dad.
Okay. Mr. Roberts, can you tell me your date of birth?
It is 9/21/1995.
All right, sir. You are here today because a grand jury in this county has indicted you in 3 separate indictments. Do you all want me to go through those? Gotcha. Yeah. Mr. Roberts, we just arraigned your co-defendant a minute ago. He's in jail in another county, and he is also represented by this office, this public defender's office. So they're going to have to assign one or the other of you a conflict attorney. So I don't know exactly who that's going to be right off the bat, but for purposes of today's hearing, I have an attorney standing up here and asking me to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf, which I certainly will do. So in each of your 3 cases, we are going to set this we're going to plead not guilty, set it for a pretrial conference. I believe we just did it was July the 26th, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. I have another court date with Judge Wilson here today at 1:30, and it's for my probation violation. And I have a bed date this Friday at ARC in Somerset. And I just want to make sure that if you're okay with it and Judge Wilson's okay with it, if y'all let me go to a treatment. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be long-term treatment at ARC at ARC in Somerset, because I have a methamphetamine addiction problem, and that's why I was going to treatment. I have a bed date this Friday, and I believe that he's gonna approve it. I just need your approval. So because I've been locked up for, I think, going on 3 months now.
Yeah, I understand. Who's your probation officer?
Dylan Woolley.
All right. So if you all want to reach out to him and just let him know that that request had been made here on the table. I mean,
Your Honor, Officer Woolley, notes in here that, the attorney in Warren County was working on a treatment bed that was on April the 12th. The Commonwealth agreed the hearing was reset for today, May 3rd.
Yeah. And of course, what the issue is that he's got 3 bonds here that he hadn't made. I don't know, Mr. Gardner, if you want to weigh in on that. I mean, my
Your Honor, he also has a pending case up in Warren County, it's publicity robbery, and $10,000 cash bond set back for a court date. I don't know if that can change.
Yeah.
Agreement to change that or not, but obviously that would hold.
Yeah. Sure. What I would want you to pass along is that if both of his Warren County things get squared away to where they agree for him to go to treatment, then notify us, and I think I can change his bond to where I have him complying with the treatment orders of Warren Circuit Court as a condition of his bond here. I mean, I don't want to keep him from going if they know him, sounds like probably better over there because he's been on probation and he's also got new charges. And I mean, if they feel like it's adequate and a good idea to do, I'm not smarter than they are. So,
Sir, I will let them know.
okay. So we'll play that as it lays there, Mr. Roberts. But if you all get that worked out over in Warren County in both of your deals over there, then I think we can make it work over here too.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yes.
He also has a Barron District case, which I would be more than happy to ask Judge Pendleton to change that if everything else falls into place.
Yeah, if you just might want to pass that along to him when you get a chance.
Yes, Your Honor, I will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Roberts, your current court date is going to be July 26th at 1 o'clock. It's going to be, you're going to need to try to notify your attorney if you're not able to make that court date. That's a little bit hard because I'm not sure he's going to know who his attorney is before he leaves. But, I guess as soon as you all have somebody that you're going to send it to, if they can reach out to him, he'll be in Warren County Jail at least.
Your Honor, it will be Bruce Brown.
Oh, it's going to be Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Is there any way we can somehow get that number to him since I don't know it off the top of my head?
I can give it to you right now.
Oh, well, can you write this down or have somebody write this down for you, Mr. Roberts?
I need a pen and piece of paper.
It's real easy.
Is it just the same as PAC's number?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, well, I know that then.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm ready.
270-651-9000.
Yes, sir.
651-9000.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I need to contact him if I go to treatment.
Yeah, well, you probably need to go ahead and reach out to him at your first opportunity because he needs to know where you're going to be, and you need to know, you need to have spoken to him. And then as we get closer to this court date, if you're not, sometimes you're able to travel and sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're able to get on a Zoom call and sometimes you're not. But you just need to coordinate that with your attorney so that it doesn't look like you're just skipping out, so we know where you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. All right.
Thank you, sir.
believe that's all of my other jails. Let's see who else. Oh, Ken, you're Mr. Colello's here. Yeah. Hey. Can you all find out the names of everybody else? Please. All right, Ken, this is his indictment. I've already kind of gone over it with him. I didn't read it to him, but I told him his charges. Do you want to know anything else about it or?
No, Your Honor, we'll waive, and I'll acknowledge having received a copy of the indictment, acknowledge that this fire's address is correct. There are plea of not guilty.
Okay, we're going to set this then for a pretrial conference on do y'all have any idea about when you might want to do this? It would be,
45 days out.
yeah, I mean, middle of June.
Yes, Judge.
When are you not going to be here?
Around June 14th.
All right, so
21st.
why don't we do just for, because the week before is the 7th, but then right, the week before that's Memorial Day. That always causes problems. Why don't we put it on for the 28th? That'll be after you're back. So Mr. Colello, just stay in contact with your attorney. Our next court date will be June 28th at 1 o'clock. And all other things being equal, we'll probably be up here in person like we are today. Okay?
And Judge, I've also got Mark Roberts, if he's in the very next jail.
All right, we can probably do that. Bonnie, do you have Mark Roberts? Thank you.
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you. Mr. Garrett, here is the indictment. There are 2 copies. All right. So that is a plea of not guilty for Mr. Roberts. You want to do the same pretrial for that one?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was 28 June, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
6/28 at 1 o'clock PM. And I'm sure you want to have a discussion about this bond. So
Maybe set it at 25,000.
it's 50,000 cash.
Judge, I think that's appropriate. Because it attempted to kill 2 individuals. Post was possibly 2 other. That cash bond. Appropriate, does mean the danger does give you some discretion. I don't think there's a property bonds. Insurance and public. And firearms, he has, I don't know if he has anything else, what else he has access to. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this case was a little bit unusual in terms of at least the factual scenario that's been laid out in here. I don't know that I feel comfortable. I mean, what that would be doing would be lowering his bond and then allowing him to make a property bond. I don't know that I feel comfortable doing that. If anybody wants to go through the elaborate steps of making, it's pretty elaborate to make a property bond in this day and age because there's all these affidavits and things you have to get from the various places and all that. But I think as long as he complies with the statute and makes it in the amount in which I've already set his bond, there isn't anything I can do to stop him. But I'm not going to lower his bond to make it easier to make, if that makes sense. This seems to have been a very, a situation that was fraught with peril on more than one front, if you know what I mean.
So Judge, you would-
I mean, I don't think I can stop him as long as he complies with the statute and convinces the clerk that he's because they're the ones that have to take the bond, and they're going to want him to follow the rules. Okay? Well, I would want, let me see, I think it's probably part of the original thing anyway. Yeah, I mean, Amy, are you on here? Yeah, you can hear me, can't you? I would want, at least at the inception of any, if he makes a bond, I would want there to be, obviously the conditions that would normally be on there when you have a specific alleged victim or victims, which would include no contact and all that. In this instance, I think there should also be some form of ankle monitoring, at least at the beginning, so that there's not any danger of him being someplace where these folks are. And we can't do, for personnel reasons at this stage of the game, we can't really do GPS monitoring. So it's basically going to be like a house arrest. That's the only other option.
Okay.
But I mean, if he's got a job and all that, we work around all that.
Yes, Your Honor, of course, I understand.
And then, if that all happens, then as we move through, we can revisit it and that kind of thing. But that would make everybody feel more comfortable on the front end. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All other things being equal, we'll see you on June 28th, okay? Thank you. Francis Wyrock. Thank you. There you are. I was looking for you on here. I don't know why. All right. I believe this might be an arraignment. Is that what everybody else thinks? The problem is that I no longer have a copy of her, an extra copy of her indictment. I can give you this one, and then we can. Yeah. If I can let you all see it and then give it back, and then we can send you one, because that's the original. So I don't want to let it get out of my sight. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Wyrock, I'm going to appoint counsel to represent you. Let me ask you, can you tell me what your address is? I hate to do this to y'all, but I'm muting you. 8971 Orwell Road. All right, very good. Can you tell me your date of birth? 10/7/82. Thank you very much. Okay. Ms. Myers, would you all like to have a formal arraignment? Okay. Can we, I'll put her down for a plea of not guilty. Can we put her on for a pretrial, maybe June 21st? At 1 o'clock, yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, and so here's, thank you. Here is one copy for you and one copy for her. Thank you. Ms. Wyrock, just be sure that you stay in contact with your attorney and that you guys talk between now and whenever it is that we're going to see you again, okay? Do you have any questions? All right, thank you. Kristen Ramos. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Yeah, it looks like, since I've seen you last, there's a bunch of receipts in here. You've been making some payments? You know how much you've paid? No? Well, I could probably do a little. Okay. When did I see you last? That would have been probably July, so 9 months or so back. I'd say you're pretty close to being on schedule. Take a penny here and there. All right, Ms. Ramos, let's do this. Let's go down about 6 months or so and have you keep making these payments and try to make them every month. And we'll take another look at it in 6 months to make sure you're still on track, okay? So that will be November the 1st. All right? Herb Rutan. Yeah. All right, so let us see here. I think the first order of business is going to have to get a address because I think we've tried 2 or 3 different addresses and they aren't working. So what's your address right now?
740 Old Salem Church Road, Greensburg, Kentucky.
740 Old Salem Church Road, Greensburg, Kentucky. All right, thank you. Mr. Berry, I suppose what I need to know on your all's end is whether you all have really had much chance to talk, because if not, I want to. Yeah, let's implement that, get y'all talking, and maybe come back in a month or whatever you think's appropriate and figure out where we need to go, okay?
We did get this set for a jury trial in August. Yes.
Right.
So, Greg, I'm gonna, were you living on the case then? Okay, I'm gonna send you the offer. Okay. So you have that.
It's got other hearing on the docket. This case is still.
It is still pending, and I think what ended up happening, frankly, was that he had a pretrial conference back in July, and he didn't appear for it, and he got a warrant. And then when he got arrested, it was in another county, and I think we might have been having a COVID issue here, and our jail said they didn't want to go pick him up. So I think I said, just go ahead and let him out, cite him to court, and then we closed and didn't have any of those courts. So I'm actually not sure how he knew to be here today, but I'm glad he's here. because these letters are all coming back returned. But in any event, he's here and I think we're able to get back on track. All right. So what are you thinking, Mr. Barry? Maybe June the, I don't know, would the 14th grab you okay? 6 weeks? At 1 o'clock for a pretrial conference? All right. So you all just be sure that you all can talk between now and then, okay? Thank you. Thomas Wright. All right. Mr. Wright is on, I believe, for a motion to revoke probation that we need to schedule for a hearing. I think. Yeah, do you think I have that wrong? I mean, we need to just set it for a hearing, right? Yeah. And that's not going to be doable on May 11th. What about May 25th? All right. Mr. Wright, I'm not asking for you to say anything here, so, I ain't trying to get you in trouble. I'm going to say this. Between now and then, be sure that you're talking to your probation officer and meeting with them like you're supposed to and, reporting in as scheduled and so forth. And we will see how this shakes out on May the 25th. That'll be at 1:30 in the afternoon, okay? All right. If your attorney gives you a number or anything like that she wants you to call her at, be sure you do it, okay? All right, thanks. Mark Morgan. Mark Morgan. Hello, Mr. Morgan. Believe we're reviewing payments again. Is that right? How have you done? When's the last time I saw you? 8 months. Yeah, probably August. Yeah. Looks like you're about, I don't know, something like $1,300 lower. Your restitution's about $1,300 lower now than it was then. Does that sound right? Looks like you've been making payments pretty regular. Which is more than I can say for a lot of folks. All right. I don't know. I feel like that's pretty good. I'd like for you to just keep that up, I suppose. And we'll get you on here in about 6 more months and see how we're doing, okay? Hopefully we won't have to move that on you. What's your address in case we do have to send you something? 625 Old Edmonton Road. Gotcha. All right. Appreciate it. Let me tell you a specific day. I don't think I did. November 1st. Yeah. Quintella Sexton. Thank you. How are you? Looks like you're on here today to see whether your pretrial diversion can be terminated. The last thing I've got in here was something from about 18 months ago asking that she be placed on inactive supervision because she was, so I don't have anything else.
I think she might be a good judge. Can I just have a few minutes, so I'm gonna check with her.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a for sure.
I think the only issue would be restitution if it's owed.
Well, good idea. I don't know that, let me look in her original document here and see. Her order says defendant shall pay restitution of $0 plus 5% clerk fee. And as we all know, what 5% of zero is. Yeah, I think she's in good shape. Yeah, I mean, plus her diversions are, I mean, it would already been over anyway because it just got moved, but. All right, guess what? You're going to get an order saying that your charges are dismissed. Do you want to tell me your address or has it not changed? All right, tell me your address and we'll make sure you get a copy of this.
600 Lloyd Lee, H-U-M-E-S, Somerset, Kentucky. 42166.
Good deal. Be looking for this in a few days, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care of yourself. All right, who you got, Johnny Bill? Huh?
Andrew Olin, O-L-I-N.
Is he going,
Set a hearing for her.
is he going to be on here tall?
I'm here, Your Honor.
Mentioned always supposed to be a person. Right.
Oh, is this you on the phone? 576-1381?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right, good deal. Got a motion to revoke. You want to do it on May the 11th? Shoot, you already got half the docket that day.
You gotta go last there.
Move it that next day.
I have to go to the 25th if I move it. I appreciate it.
Just trying to let y'all get in on that one where we're only going to have about 5 as opposed to the one where we're going to have about 50. Do what? Yeah, the 11th is when the DPA is not going to be here. So, I mean, you know, we're just going to have a few.
I've got 14 on that dang reserve.
Yeah, I know, but you're going to work them all out. On the 11th you do? Oh. May 25th it is.
May 20,
1:30.
1:30.
All right, Mr. Olin, stay in contact with Mr. Bell, all right?
Yes, Your Honor, I will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
As far as this evening, under this new situation, I've got some in jail and some are not. So are we gonna Zoom to jail and then get done with that and walk over here and do the last one, or how's it gonna work?
We're going to be able to do them simultaneously. See that deal right there? See me waving to you?
No, I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can stay, you can come in if you have people coming in, or you can stay gone if you got people on Zoom, or you can do either one, or you can come and do some of them and then leave. Because we can do, if you're here, we can do you here. If you're Zoom, we can do you Zoom. If some are here and some are there, we can do it both.
I didn't know what we're doing.
Yeah. I didn't know. In fact, I'm just figuring that as I go myself. Yeah. All right. All right. God. Glenn Booth. Sorry about making you come up there, but I had to mute it because it was too loud.
All right, sorry.
This is 16 CR 318. Glenn E. Booth. Mr. Booth, what is your address?
It's 125.5 Hogue Avenue, Rockmart, Georgia, 30153.
All right. I hate to ask you this, but I'm gonna have to get you to tell me that again because I didn't have a pen when you told me.
It's 125.5 Hogue Avenue. It's Hogue. Rockmart, Georgia, 30153.
Gotcha. What's your date of birth, sir?
9/1977.
All right. Mr. Booth, do you have an attorney?
No, sir.
Do you need to discuss with me about getting an attorney appointed for you?
Do I need to?
Well, I don't know. You're charged with a felony of flagrant non-support. That is a Class D felony. I would think pretty much anybody that's charged with a felony would probably feel better having an attorney representing them.
I guess I will.
Yeah. Did you get arrested in Georgia and brought up here?
Yes, sir. I got arrested. It's been 44 days ago now. I spent 39 down there, and then the sheriff's office came and got me about 5 days ago.
Yeah. This is an indictment that goes all the way back to 2016 is when the indictment was entered. BOOTH.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mr. Berry, I've got an indictment, but I don't have an extra one to give you. We can make a copy of it for you before we leave. Flagrant non-support. And like I said, the date on it was September of 2016. So from October 1st, 2009 to September of 2016, the allegation is that he was in arrears in the amount of $7,724.95. Obviously, we don't have any idea what's happened in between then and now, or if it's gotten worse or been, yeah. No payments being made on it. What do you know what?
Very few, if any.
Yeah. Do you know what a balance is?
I don't know offhand what the balance is. I think it's over $50,000.
All right. All right. So this is the deal. I mean, obviously, I'm going to appoint counsel for Mr. Booth, and we will enter a plea of not guilty, Mr. Berry. Yeah, you're going to get one. You can acknowledge my promise to give you one in just a minute if you want to do that. And yeah, I mean, this is the age-old dilemma that you've got. I mean, somebody can't pay child support if they're in jail, but it at least looks like somebody wasn't doing a real bang-up job of paying child support when he wasn't in jail. So,
I got disabled, sir, and I've been trying to get my check started, but things went haywire. I've been having to try to get my doctors and all this and that, but I have got somebody right now stating that they'll help me out by paying so much every month until I get my check started. And I can give you his phone number and name and everything.
Well, what I was going to suggest, since there may be a rearage of over $15,000, would be to maybe try to do a 10% bond and get a little bit of money paid, at least on the bond, so that it could start going towards child support. And it wouldn't have to be $15,000. Yeah, you can. But But, you know, I mean, I don't want to make it where he can't do, you know, I mean, obviously what I would like is for somebody to pay the lion's share of that and then us hold it and give it to the child support. That's probably not doable, and I don't want to set his bond without any realistic expectation that he can actually make something. But what I would be willing to do would be to try to get a number and then look at something like 10% of that, or if nothing else, just set a bond at a figure smaller than his arrearage if I thought he could make it.
Okay. Also, I'd like to ask for, Stevie, but sort of a sentence, and pretrial.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I would think so. Well, I mean, I can give you 2 weeks if you want me to. That would be May the 17th. Yes, sir. And if
Since Mike is listening on Zoom, I'm gonna ask her to call the child support office and then text Lisa, myself on the office, the arrearage amount.
all right, Micah, if you can get to Reese, the arrearage amount, I can at least have some, you know, informed setting of a bond amount on this, and then, but we're going to do a pretrial in 2 weeks, and we might be able to get a deal worked out on it in that period of time anyway. Okay. All right.
Your Honor, I've got a memo here, a holder for 13J 180 also.
Yeah, I think he's got a bench warrant out of his family court case, is what you're talking
Okay.
about. A
Okay,
payer
I
step.
just want to make sure everyone was aware of that.
Yeah. So, I
Thank
mean, if we did something with the bond, then it would also require the family court to play ball, and I don't know if they will or won't.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you. Yes, sir. Trevor Burton. Yes. All right, Bonnie, you got Mitch Cross?
Hey, Judge.
Mr. Cross is on here for an arraignment on charges of receiving stolen property, $10,000 or more, receiving 500 or more, receiving 500 or more. That's a C, a D, and a D. Theft of a motor vehicle registration plate, a D, and then a couple of misdemeanors. He's a state inmate, so he's gonna need you guys or somebody that's the functional equivalent of you guys to represent him. So, Mr. Cross, I'm appointing counsel for you today. All right. Okay, very good. So we're going to waive a formal arraignment. I'm entering a not guilty plea on your behalf. We're going to set this for a pretrial conference. We can do, I believe, we might as well try to squeeze it in June. When are you not here? So can we do the 21st of June? All right, so we're going to do a pretrial conference on June 21st at 1 o'clock, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Willard Flickner. All right, Mr. Barry, here's up. Mr. Flickner, you've been indicted on one count of possession of a controlled substance, first degree, second offense, one count of possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm appointing counsel to represent you. Mr. Barry, do you all wish to?
We would acknowledge receiving a copy of the indictment.
All right, so we're going to put Mr. Flickner down for a plea of not guilty and schedule a pretrial conference. I think this ought to be one that try June 7th. Yeah, he's a state inmate. Yep.
Okay, it will take a bunch of people out of there to talk.
All right, Mr. Flickner, we'll see you on June the 7th, okay?
All right, thank you.
Jacob Gossett. I didn't realize that Mr. Bell had represented him before. I don't know if he's going to be representing him. I wasn't even thinking of that. No, Mr. Gossett. Yeah. Well, we resolved back in the summer his motion. And then this just popped up on Wednesday or Thursday, and I entered a bench warrant. I did not know that the bench warrant had been executed until I saw his name on this list. So you're not the only one that didn't know it was on. Yeah. And he did, all of that was going good until the last few days, apparently. Hold on. I will show you that's what happened, or that's what allegedly happened. In any event, we're going to have to set this for a hearing. I would guess that, I don't know if one of y'all wants to call Mr. Bell and see if he's going to do it, because I'd guess he'd rather do it on that next hearing date if it's available. If not, it'll be a month if the DPA is going to be doing it. Yeah. May not know anything about it. What I'm going to do, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it for May the 11th. And if Mr. Bell ends up representing him, we'll do it on May the 11th. If he is not going to be representing him, I'll appoint you guys and we'll put it on May 25th. Okay?
Judge, Michael contacted child support office on this. And the rearage currently is $20,788.40.
20 what now?
22,
78846.
Okay. All right. Mr. Gossett, the Commonwealth is going to file a motion to revoke your probation, and we're going to have that hearing on May the 11th, okay?
All right,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Mariah Huff. All right, looks like this is 21 CR 135, theft by unlawful taking 10,000 or more. 21 CR 149, assault in the first degree. Here is an indictment representing each one of those two cases. All right, Mr. Berry. So, Ms. Huff, I'm appointing counsel for you. Okay. I'm not,
It's something that I thought was I think it's
Okay, you never do it again, they do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you never do it again, they do. So cute. On a phone, just. Take a step back there.
all right. All right, Ms. Huff, I'm going to, like I said, appoint counsel. We're putting you down here for a not guilty plea. We're entering, going to schedule a pretrial conference. I believe we can do that. Probably. Why don't we do this? Why don't we try to turn that around fairly quick, just so you can see whether you're going to be able to do the case or you have to assign it out somewhere. And you think if we did May 24th, that'd be enough time to, that's 3 weeks. So, Ms. Huff, we're going to put you down for a not guilty plea and a pretrial on May 24th at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, you show them.
Yeah. That was, my intent was to try to let her get over to Hart County so they could take care of her, because I wasn't sure they would do anything with her hearing, and you know what I mean? So I was hoping that they could take care of her. All right. We'll probably see you on May 24th at 1 o'clock.
All right, are they transporting me to Hart County?
I would think so, but I can't speak for Hart County.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, she's got court tomorrow in Hart County via Zoom.
Okay, they'll do it Zoom. All right, thanks. Tony Keene. Yep. Mr. Keene, are you represented by the DPA?
No, sir.
Who's going to represent you?
I don't know who. I don't have nobody right now.
Well, I mean, are you going to get somebody, or am I going to need to appoint somebody?
Going to need to appoint somebody, please.
Yeah. We'll circle back to where, I mean, it'll be somebody from the DPA's office. All right, so, Greg.
Your Honor, has
Yes,
this indictment been served?
this is a probation violation.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. I was just looking at his 21F case and I just wanted to make sure when something needed to be served. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct. It's not. All right, Mr. Barry, we'll put this hearing on for May the 25th at 1:30. All right, Mr. King, we'll see you then. Mike Lowe. I've got both of his files. I've got both of them here. I don't know if you want to do them both. I mean, I don't know what the intent was here. I don't know if you got those or not. You remember I asked him to send them to you, but I don't know if you got them. This is his new. Yeah, that's fine. All right. All right, so this new 21 CR 140 is the trafficking first degree, first offense, greater than or equal to 2 grams, enhanced possession of a firearm, also handgun by a convicted felon, possession of meth precursor, second offense. And then the rest of those are misdemeanors and a PFO second degree. Myers, anything that you want to I need to set this, probably this other case for a pretrial conference and then this one as well. Do you have an idea of when, how far along you all are in it, how far you would want me to set it out for you?
Whenever Judge.
Okay.
All the discovery, I don't think that there'll be any additional discovery.
All right.
Unless the staff hasn't been done, probably eventually getting.
Yeah, on this new one, there's a chance, I guess, that hadn't come through yet. All right. Let's try June the 7th. At 1 o'clock. Mike, your bond on this new case was set at 10,000. Do you have, if I was to do a 10%, is there somebody that could make that?
I think so.
Well, when I saw him last week, I told him that once he got this indictment served on him and I could arraign him, I would try to see if we could get a little wiggle room out of that bond. So if you believe you can make that, I think that'll be fair. I know you've been in there a while, and I mean, listen, here's the deal. I mean, you know what it takes to be in there and you know what it takes to be out of there.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, at this stage of the game, I'm going to have to put a little faith in you and see if you can do it.
My kids depend on me.
Huh?
I said, my children depend on me. So
I know. But, I need you minding your P's and Q's. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, from our position, I do think considering Mr. Lowe manufacturing and legitimate attempt, but, or obviously you're gonna make these bonds, be that 10%, so they're pretty much stakes low.
Excuse me. Yeah, I was going to, I hadn't gotten to the conditions yet, but I was going to get to the conditions and tell Mr. Lowe, and he knows how this works too, that he'll need to report to U-turn and random drug screens. I mean, I'm not going to put you on an ankle monitor or anything like that. I mean, you need to be out here working and spending your money on things that, you know, your child and all that stuff. So, you know, don't put me in that spot where I got to take money out of her mouth.
I'm doing my best.
All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But you need to report to Julie when you get out.
Atkins?
Yes.
Okay.
And, no drugs and alcohol, random drug screens, no new arrests, report to U-turn as directed, make and keep appointments with your attorney and make all your court dates.
Yes, sir.
Your next court date is June the 7th at 1:00.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Does he need, do you need me to fire off a number to him, or do you need me to get a number from him, or how you want to do that? All right.
Judge, what bond amount, please?
What? You did,
What bond
your mouth
amount?
was moving, but you didn't say nothing.
What bond amount?
Oh, this 21 CR 140 is going to be 10%.
Okay.
The other one, I had done a revocation on that other one. I'm going to reinstate it. Yeah.
Reinstate. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And just have Bonnie give you the DPA number, their office number, because she knows that.
Yes, sir.
Call that office and you can drop off a number with them and then they'll call you. Okay?
All righty. Thank you.
All right.
Have
See you
a
in
good day.
June.
Yes, sir.
Jody McCandless. All right. He looks like he's holding it. Did you get your PSI report?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Did you get the chance to read it?
Well, I mean, they gave it to me that time I come to court, but I went over and understand a little bit of it. I might have a question or two. Like, well, at time, and my understanding, everything was run together for 15 years total. That's what, okay. That's the only question I have, because I couldn't kind of find it on the papers, but like I said, I understand everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those other cases, they escape charge. And I'm gonna file that motion. I'm actually doing that right now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So everybody up here agrees that your total time across these cases is 15.
All right. Thank you.
And then you have credit, which is reflected on your PSR here of 582 days.
Yeah, I've seen that.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have anything else that you want to ask?
No, that should be it, sir.
All right. Are you ready to go ahead then and be sentenced today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I believe that, a lot of work went into negotiating this from both sides. You all both thought it was fair. Nothing that I have seen leads me to believe that the sentence is not fair or is inadequate. In 19 CR 548, we will do a sentence of 5 years. In 19 CR 565, we will do a total sentence of 15 years. Those two will run concurrently with one another for a total across both cases of the 15 years. Your fines and your court costs will be waived. and you will be entitled, of course, to all the pre-sentence credit that we have referred to a minute ago. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck, man. Okay.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah. Bradley Miller. All right. Mr. Miller, you're set for arraignment on a case where you were indicted for receiving stolen property, 500 or more, fleeing or evading in the first degree, no license, and persistent felony offender. Do I need to appoint an attorney to represent you?
I've already been indicted. How can I be indicted 2 times on the same case?
Yeah, you have not been indicted 2 times on the same case. You got indicted in a different case. And then this is a separate case with maybe some similar charges, but it's not the same incident.
I don't really understand. I got arrested on 1 case, so how am I being charged with 2 different cases? That's double jeopardy.
Right. Yeah, all right. All right. I'm going to appoint counsel, Mr. Berry.
So can you explain to me why is it that I'm being double jeopardy right now? I mean, because I've only been arrested for 1 case.
I'm going to explain it to you in this way. You're not being double jeopardied.
I mean, it kind of seems like that. I've only been arrested for 1 case. So how are you indicting me 2 times on the same case?
Well, because double jeopardy means you can't be convicted, and nobody's convicting you of anything right now.
But you're indicting me on the same case 2 times.
I'm not indicting anybody because I don't indict people. The Commonwealth indicted you, and they say that it's not the same charges, so I'm going to believe them until it's proven otherwise.
That don't really make a whole lot of sense, being that I was arrested for fleeing and evading. I was arrested for the theft, unlawful taking, the receiving stolen property, the 1 endangerment second, and no license.
Mr. Berry, do you want me to explain his rights to him, or do you want to?
I would just,
I know my rights very well, actually. I just got out of prison. And I know that you're definitely indicting me on the same case 2 times. It's definitely against the law. Definitely not allowed to do that.
Okay. I'm not going to take your word for it, okay?
I kind of figured you wouldn't.
anyway, I acknowledge receipt of copy of the indictment, formal arraignment, enter not guilty, plea to all charges.
All right. Let's say June the 7th. Oh, well, we can put it, he's coming back on May 17th.
Can we just run it together then?
On the case that he thinks, so why don't we just put this on June 17th or May 17th as well?
And this case will be conflicted out because his other one is.
Yeah, he's already got a conflict attorney on the other case. Who is it?
Bethany Stanziano.
Yeah, I haven't even spoke with her.
Yeah.
That's not what the lady told me over the rough to come up at.
There was a co-defendant. Yeah. Yeah, we'll try to get them together, and then we'll see what, if we have both files here, at least it'll make more sense.
All right.
Yeah, May 17th at 1.
I don't know what it's going, situation, everything, the other piece. Oh, they've got a cash bond on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We done here?
Yes.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, I mean, he had theft charges all down the road. He's a high risk, and yeah.
I'm definitely not a high risk. Thank you.
I was referring to you being a high risk for popping off when I wasn't talking to you.
Well, you
Dante Morrison.
You even said in my last court date I wasn't a high risk and I was a moderate 3 on the FTA.
Got a good guy.
For the record, since he brought it up, he was a high 9 to reoffend on his risk assessment. So I did not tell him he was a moderate risk on his risk to reoffend. DeDante Morrison.
A moderate 3, a beer to a beer.
This shit's crazy, dog.
What's your feeling?
Miller.
God damn. I can't win, y'all. I love you, bro. I love you too, dog.
They don't run this together.
Yeah. You're in. Yeah, diabetes is not on the same page, man. Fuck you. Oh, yeah. What's up, Tom?
Oh, shit.
Bonnie, we're gonna have to start doing some of these guys one at a time because the rest of us aren't gonna listen to all this nonsense. We can't hear what's going on. The people like DeDante Morrison that's trying to hear what's going on, isn't gonna be, if I was trying to talk, he couldn't hear. I know you're doing the best you can, but I mean, we might just have to get it down to where there's just 3 or 4 people in there at a time if these guys won't be quiet.
I agree, Judge. Okay.
Or, I mean, we've probably got a few select individuals that we just need to bring in one at a time.
Okay.
I mean, if they don't have enough, even respect for one another to be quiet. All right, Mr. Morrison, you have been indicted on the counts of count 1, rape in the first degree, count 2, theft by unlawful taking under 500, count 3, drug paraphernalia, count 4, persistent felony offender in the second degree. I am appointing counsel for you here today, and I'm going to hand a copy of your indictment to counsel. She is going to tell me, I think, that she wants you to plead not guilty. All right. So I am entering a plea of not guilty on your behalf, and we will set this for a pretrial conference on, call it June. How are you looking on? When are you going to be gone? Oh, y'all going to be gone at the same time?
Yeah.
All right.
Get right back here.
Yeah, well, she's not available on July 19th, so I'm just trying to get it. June 21st? All right. 1 o'clock on June 21st. Mr. Morrison right now is in the state, he's in the state custody. I don't know how much longer that'll be, but that's where he is for now. I think it'll get us to June. There's a bond. Yeah, it was 50,000. Yeah. All right. Mr. Morrison, your attorney will be in touch with you, okay?
All right.
Sean Tyler Knuckles. Oh, well. This is another one. Mr. Bell has apparently entered an appearance, but I guess he didn't know he was on here. Is he gonna be back at 1? He is. Hey, Bonnie,
Yes, Judge.
can we do Tyler at 1? Because Johnny is left and he'll be back at 1.
Yes, that'd be fine.
All right. I don't think he knew that this one was on. Summer Payne. This is Ms. Payne. You have been indicted with charges of trafficking in a controlled substance, first degree, 2 or more grams, first offense. That's a Class C felony. And then paraphernalia and some traffic offenses, also PFO, first degree. Can you tell me your address?
724 Cedar Street, Owensboro, Kentucky. My husband told them that I didn't know anything about the drugs, but he's just out on my ankle monitor, but we haven't got to talk to a lawyer or anything.
Thank you, Laura.
I don't know, I did review this case, I'm aware of what you said, so grand jury did what they did, really has no effect right now. So
Understand. Mr. Berry, I'll appoint your office to represent Ms. Payne, and if you want to.
Could acknowledge the seeking of copies and license plate form. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not been arraigned yet, and I'm not sure. I guess when he got served, he must have been able to make the bond. The bond that I set was $5,000 cash with a ankle monitor and curfew.
Yes, sir.
But
I
I guess,
have a hold in Davis County is why I couldn't.
oh, she's got a hold from another county.
Yeah.
So you would have made that if you didn't?
Yes, sir.
All right.
it's one of those on court that Davis County case doesn't show up. I don't know why.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's set this for June 21st. For a pretrial conference at 1:00. And Ms. Payne, they can give you your attorney's office phone number. If you get out, you get your Davis County thing straightened out or whatever, you need to give your attorney's office a call and put give them your number and everything so that they can get in touch with you, okay?
Oh, you mean for like my hold? To go ahead and take care of that?
I don't think they can take care of a hold in Davis County.
Okay, so call for up here, call the.
Yes.
Okay, and Miss Bonnie will have that phone number for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then what did you say the court date was, the 21st?
June 21st,
Okay,
1:00.
all right. Is that all?
Ryan Perry.
Oh, thank you.
That right to piss me off.
This is going to end up being probably a motion for the Commonwealth.
It is, Your Honor, I'm actually signing the motion.
All right. So I'll reappoint. And we'll set this for that May 25th date. 1:30. Mr. Perry, I'm going to appoint counsel, and the Commonwealth's going to file a motion to revoke your probation. We'll hear it on May 25th at 1:30, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hassan Kadura.
Yes, sir. Afternoon.
Let's see. We're going to have, we do have a motion to revoke probation in this case as well. I'm going to need to appoint counsel for you, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Is there any way, I never had treatment in my lifetime, and somebody, my ex-wife was talking to me about it, said it might be
Might be something I want to talk to you about.
Well, that might be a possibility.
I appreciate it.
I don't really know until we get, I'm going to appoint you an attorney. Your attorney can talk with your probation officer or the Commonwealth and then, you know, if they can't come up with something that they can all agree on, y'all can run things by me and we'll see what I think. Okay?
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Ashley Reed. This is an arraignment. Let's see, I've got a copy of this one if you want it.
Stop talking.
Miss Reed, I'm appointing counsel for you today.
How are you?
Oh, yeah, who? I forgot.
Ken Garrett.
Oh, forgot all about that. Sorry. Maybe we can see if we can get him to come Monday. Can we notify him about Monday? Put it back on. All right. How about I pass you over to next Monday and we'll get with Mr. Garrett and have him here, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Rex Stinson. All right. Mr. Stinson, do I need to appoint a lawyer to represent you, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Berry, if you will, here is a copy of the indictment in this case. All right, very good. So, Mr. Stinson, your attorney is, that I'm appointing is Mr. Berry. He's going to waive a formal reading of your indictment and issue a plea of not guilty, enter a plea of not guilty.
Stop talking.
All right. So, Mr. Berry, let's get this on for a pretrial conference. This is one of those things where, you know, usually there's a lot of discovery you kind of have to deal with. I don't know how long you want me to give you before I put this on. Yeah, cool. We could probably do July the 12th. Yeah, Mr. Gardner, does the Commonwealth want us?
Charged with addition to that, proof trial this matter is that Mr. Stinson contacted by the juvenile's parent 6 months or so before arrested, old child was underage and stopped contacting the child. Mr. Stinson persisted after that and continued to have contact with the child and committed some violation act after he was contacted by her family before he stopped. So the Commonwealth is concerned that Mr. Stinson would be likely to have been
Yeah, I tell you, you know, the biggest problem in one of these is just the myriad ways that people can have access to things that would put them on the internet and allow them to do things that, you know, you can't really do a house arrest or anything like that. And there's not really any way to control what kind of devices somebody has in their possession or that have access to those devices. You can do that after in a probation situation because people can go in your house and root around, but you don't really, you know, you still have some rights when you're before you're put on probation. So that's a little tough. And so that's what concerns me, is not being able to really exert any kind of control over use of electronic means. So, Mr. Barry, I'm not going to tell you that I won't review the bond, because I'm going to. I don't know how much, movement I can make on it, but I will reassess it. I know that he does not have a real low pretrial risk assessment. I mean, he does not have a high or substantial pretrial risk assessment. I mean, he's a young guy. I don't think he's got much of record, if any. But the nature of these charges is, kind of skews that a little bit. So, but I will take that under advisement. In the meantime, we will put this on for a pretrial conference July 12th at 1 o'clock. Okay?
Hey, Judge, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I know you were talking about reviewing my bond. I was wondering if I could get a secured bond with an ankle monitor, if I could get someone to bail me out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at it and see if I can make a change in it, okay?
Yes, sir.
I haven't made my mind up yet, all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
James Vibert?
I discovered the difference.
Okay. Oh, I may have not even asked her. I asked her like her date of
The
birth.
middle number should be, I think, 19, and we have it as 49. That's
Okay.
why I just thought I'd give that to you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Vibert, you're here because you've been indicted on a charge of possession of a controlled substance and a charge of possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to appoint counsel for you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you, well, we can talk about that in a minute. Sure. Are you in there on some kind of parole deal?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
That's what I was thinking, because I did a summons and he's in jail. So I figured that's what happened. All right, let's put you on, Jamie, for I'd say maybe June 14th ought to work. 1 o'clock. All right, I'm going to appoint counsel for you, and she can get in touch with you down there in jail, okay?
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
William Wiley.
How you doing, Your Honor? You all right?
Well, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, peachy. Just peachy.
Mr. Wiley has been indicted on a charge of receiving stolen property, 500 or more, and persistent felony offender in the first degree.
You gave me the PFO 1?
Well, I didn't give it to you, but the grand jury gave it to you.
That's a bad one. Well,
he's not letting it get him down.
No, PFO 1. Yeah, that's what's that, 10A5? Be all right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's put him on for a pretrial conference. I don't mind doing, I don't really know a whole lot about this. Ms. Gardner, I guess you all have everything ready to go, don't you? All right. We could put him on for June the 7th. Maybe.
Hey, do I got a lawyer? Because I don't know.
Yeah, I just now appointed you one just now.
Did you for real? Appreciate that, dog. Thank you.
Do to help.
All right. Thanks, buddy. All right. You have a beautiful day and God bless you. All right.
All right. See you later.
See ya.
June 7th at 1 o'clock. Bonnie, see you in a little while. Got Brian McHugh. He'd been on here all day.
Yes, sir.
He was one of my first additions. All right. Mr. McHugh, your case is on because the Commonwealth filed a motion to revoke probation. They're asking me to set that for a hearing. Let's set it for May the.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Can you set it after the 19th? I have an appointment with to do an outpatient and some counseling over where my son passed away and all that stuff. Chase Collins want me to get proactive with that if I can.
Sure. Well, here's what'll happen. Let me set this for a hearing, and then Officer Collins can talk to the Commonwealth and tell him what he's got in mind, and we'll see where we're going to go from there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
May 25.
What time? What time, sir?
All right. Do you want me to just get it? Do you want me to just get it from him right here? Can you tell me a phone number that I can pass along to your lawyer?
Yes, 270-407-7089. And then my home phone is 487-1577. And there's an answering machine on it at all time.
You get those? All right. She's gonna, she needed a way to holler at you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll see you May 25th. It'll be at 1:30.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And then I think I've got, do I still have Mr. Underhill?
Yes.
Good deal. Hello, Mr. Underhill.
How you doing?
Well, pretty good, sir. Are we on for sentencing?
I reckon, sir.
Did you get the opportunity to review this pre-sentence report?
Yes.
All right. Is there anything in that report that you take issue with or that you believe should be corrected?
No, sir.
All right. Was this you, Mr. Berry? I was going to say, I guess it didn't really start out you, but the Commonwealth's recommendation was a 2-year sentence, probated under supervision for 2 years with an assessment. That seems fair if that's what you're going to be asking me to do. I don't think that the Commonwealth is coming off of that. Mr. Underhill, where do you reside, sir?
2200 Durkin Bowling Springs.
All right. So that's a Warren County address.
Yes, sir.
Miss Officer McCorkle, Officer Coates, what do you want to tell Mr. Underhill? He's getting sentenced today and it's 2 years probated for 2 years. He lives in Warren County.
Judge, can you just ask him to repeat his phone number for us?
Can you tell us your phone number?
It's 270-904
904
3015.
3015. Okay. Our probation folks are going to call you when we wrap up this Zoom meeting and they'll tell you where, to report and when. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And his fines and costs will be waived. I got you. Your address here is the same address we had for you. So that's all good. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Just keep your line open there so that these ladies can call you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sure will.
And then do what they tell you. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. You're good to go. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.